I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Need approval of June 24th, 2024 minutes.
I'm making a motion for the minutes. I thought they read well.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
I will probably abstain just because I wasn't here. I watched the tape, but
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
and I'll abstain.
First item on the agenda is to overview current county business for District 5 Supervisor. Mark Beardmore, congratulations and welcome to the board.
Thank you again.
This is gonna be a little bit more of an open forum, just to kind of give Mark anything that we see on the horizon or any current issues that we're having. I think you're aware of most of these, but the few that I wrote down was the construction on M66. And Zach can talk about that too, but they are due, the bid letting is
July 18th
July
for
18th.
the shoulder.
So they'll be, it's kind of gonna be like Olympic, they're gonna widen the shoulders and then resurface that road. The widening of the shoulders will happen this fall, the resurfacing will be next year, is that correct?
Correct.
Refresh my memory, is it the Manning Airport Road?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's major grading to get those shoulders on.
Time's it?
July 16th.
18th, July 18th. What time is that? 10 a.m. Thank you.
And then I think, Zach, you can probably get him maybe an updated 5-year plan that we kind of go over, if you want to get him some of that stuff.
Yep.
That's the big one for this year, as far as for construction. And then, I know you briefly discussed with Gene Miners about the Maple River Township sewer system, kind of the things that we have going on there, options as far as, I think you guys sent that letter out, correct? If you want
That's
to-
going out this week. Right?
And later in the agenda, we got to pay a couple bills.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll probably bring out everything up to speed at that time.
Okay.
Okay. And then also, we had some constituents come to the board about a 2-mile radius zoning issue. We've heard their concerns. We've kind of been talking with Aaron Quicker and not so many city council members yet, but amongst the board and then Sarah and also the assistant county attorney on what our options could be if we could change something, because right now it's obviously, it's a 28E. So whatever we do, the city has to be on board as well, whether we change anything or not. So I think the next steps with that would be to have a meeting with the city and kind of everybody sit down and explain their ideas and who knows at this point if anything will change. I know there was talk of creating kind of an offset board. We didn't come up with a name, but it would be 2 supervisors, 2 city council members
It'll be 4 elected people instead of appointed.
that would have a majority of the say, because back before that 28E, the county supervisors oversaw all the 2-mile. And this group would like to see that be back to what it was, this memorandum of understanding, and that was from 1984. And then they asked for the 2-mile zoning to be completely gone. But in my opinion, zoning is there for a reason. It's for organized economic development. It helps the growth of the town. I know there was some statistics thrown out, but I don't know if they were very accurate, that stating that there was only 4 towns in the state of Iowa that have zoning, which I know that's not true. Just from the little bit of research that we've done, we know that that's not true. And it can be called different things in different counties too. It might not be 2-mile zoning. It could be, what was the word?
Urban transition.
Yeah, urban transition or
Well, by code, there's a 4-mile urban transition now.
No matter what.
No matter what.
so. You'll be kind of just thrown into that a little bit, but we'll guide you on where we're feeling. We just started discussing it, so that's not too much into that. And then today, I know I talked to you this weekend or last week, the assessor will be retiring as of July 31st. So there will be an assessor or a meeting today at noon to kind of conference board to discuss the applicants that we have received.
Okay.
It has gone through the examining board. They have made their recommendation. But I feel at this point, the board plus obviously you got your mayors and your school boards. Well, kind of, and you've gone through this process, so I'm gonna appreciate your
Yes.
guidance and your history on this too, because it's new to me, so this whole process has been a little bit new. That's really all I could come up with. Courtney, Scott, Kane, do you guys have anything to?
Well, there's a couple pieces, major pieces of equipment that we bought, one with excavator, and we got a grader coming yet.
Excavator and a wheel loader we're looking at.
And those are done deals. I mean,
The
Wheel loader.
excavator is, the wheel loader's not yet.
okay.
And then,
Excavator is not,
The excavator is.
yeah, wheel loader is not.
I think pretty much most of the stuff for the remodel is done.
July 26th.
Little bits and pieces here, like if we wanna get a filing cabinet down below, name tags are probably gonna be something, and then some of the mats. But we kind of just waited to see, get in here, feel the space and see what we needed, we can add to it if need be. Everything on the main level is going well, right, Courtney? Yep. And then John, do you guys have anything over at the jail that you wanna discuss for the sheriff's department to just bring him up to speed?
No, not really. Over here for the Dries maintenance contract,
Yep.
so.
And they house a lot of inmates from Polk County. I don't know if you're aware of that. Okay. Do you have any questions?
The noon meeting is discussion only. We're not expecting any kind of decision. No, I think I've got, some stuff to contribute to the 2 mile thing, and, I'm waiting for a call back from a gentleman at Iowa, State Extension he put on a P and Z for us a couple of years ago, out at Region 12, and he's on vacation, so I just haven't, but I kind of wanted to get some input on him too, but I feel very good about the direction you're taking with it, and, I feel confident we can come to some kind of agreement and, whatever shape or form it looks like, but, it's one of those things, if you want to wait for 4 months, that's okay too, but I think I've got some things that I could contribute. And, what I hope to be able to do here is, a little bit more than just keep a seat warm, I would like to be able to contribute and, be contributed as much as possible, but at the same time, I also realize that, that for me, there is no tomorrow come November 11th, so I'll contribute what I can, when I can, how you want me to, and hopefully that we can just keep the ball moving. Mostly, I want to make sure I'm taking up 20% of the load, of the workload, so you can count on me.
Perfect. And if you have any questions, obviously just call in.
I'll have questions.
He's just gonna take over the appointments that Cindy had out for now.
We have not discussed
I
that.
know what they are. I've got, certainly some experience with a couple of them, not much experience with the others, but I'm something about an old dog and new tricks, but I've served on the child care board, the 2 terms I was here. I know all of those people there. But unless you want to change it in any way, and EMA, E911, I was on for 8 years there, so I know how that works. That's a pretty light lift anymore. You guys only meet twice a year pretty much, once to set the budget and then to approve the budget. Nothing's changed. We used to meet at least quarterly, but always.
Negotiations are done.
Well, yeah, at least, that part's out of the way too, so. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Collins, the new emergency management.
yeah, I was here for that one.
Right.
I mean, as mayor,
Sure.
when I was.
Yeah, and we can discuss in detail, but as of right now,
Yeah, at least I know what they are, so.
Yeah.
But whoever's getting, those emails, is Cindy's email still active? Or is it
I
dead?
have to check with Dalton.
I think he can forward.
That would be the only thing that I would ask, at least put me in touch with people, so I get, if there's a meeting, I know what it is.
The only thing I had was the compensation board, the change of Senate file
24,
42. So that's probably gonna be an agenda item next week.
There's been a change to the comp.
As of today, they don't exist.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
No, we can do a resolution to reinstate it, but no.
Okay, Mark,
Well, I mean,
I've been
basically,
campaigning for years. I didn't know that.
They're done.
so if the board chooses to have one, they have to pass it by resolution. And then you have to, all the elected officials will have to reappoint a representative. If they choose not to have it, they don't need to do anything, and then it's gonna be a board of supervisors decision.
And we can change too. We can go start without one and then we can always reappoint them too.
Sure, sure.
You can like look.
When did this? come up?
July.
July 1.
This line one.
Okay, but I mean,
This last.
This last legislative session.
They've been talking about it. Yeah, they've been talking about it for years and it never goes anywhere. And then now it's
for a
in.
year.
Well,
But it's
one-
on next week's agenda.
Yeah,
It just.
one major change though to it is that the Board of Supervisors may approve a compensation schedule that is greater than or less than the compensation board recommends. They can make adjustments to the schedule for individual elected officials without being required to adjust it by the same percentage for all. Which is different.
And also that they, now either the comp board or if it's a supervisor, has to provide documentation how they arrived at those percentages.
Yeah, it's a show your work provision. And then the other one is they can set the compensation at less than the current year if the compensation schedule recommends changing the position of county attorney to part-time, which I don't think applies to us. Yeah, so it's definitely different.
Can I ask that you send that to me?
Sure,
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
This came, you got the same thing that I said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the dumbed down version.
Yeah.
When there's a sample resolution, used to reinstate it.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. No, I think I'm good. Sorry to take up too much time.
No, you're good. This
I,
is,
questions to come.
no, that's to be expected, just walking into a position. Okay, if you feel good, we'll go to the next item. Okay. Item number 2, to approve the appropriation resolution. This allows the elected officials to spend 85, or to have access to 85% of their budget for the fiscal year 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the appropriations resolution.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call.
Resolution.
Johnson,
Yes.
Austin.
Yes.
Miners,
Yes.
Beardmore,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you.
If the city, everything, everything.
Really?
Yeah, res-
Ours could be.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
City had the consent agenda where you didn't go through each item also.
That's a time saver too.
I can feel now that I'm chair.
Redundant.
All right, the next item while they're finishing signing is to approve fiscal year 2025 salary. Does everybody have time to take a look at this?
I did, and Courtney, I did not see public health director. Did you get one for that?
I'm looking right now.
I didn't see that. I mean,
I didn't see it either.
That would be Megan
Imagine.
Poland.
No, Maggie Paul.
Megan Poland.
Does that mean she doesn't get paid?
I don't know.
I can certainly follow up with her and ask where that is. I'm just making sure I don't see it here. Let me look with anything else. So.
I
Is this
did
the-
notice.
Is this the first, this whole fiscal year that they've been under county control? So this is year 2.
I
But
do,
they, go ahead.
I think what you're about to say. is
Yeah,
what I was gonna
I'm still questioning why we have $25,000 in stipends going to the people that were kind of acting directors during the transition from St. Anthony. Mike's not here, who's on the Board of Health.
We are we are only the fiduciary agents for that board, but that's 25,000 that I would consider money.
Fiduciary.
So And they now have a full-time director, so why are we doing those stipends?
During the transition, there was no full-time director. But
In her defense, this would be the first year that she's had to submit a letter, so she either, we didn't let her know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or she didn't get it done. Not a big deal. I can email her after the meeting and have her submit that, so we can do that next week.
Can we table this till we get this resolved?
Absolutely. First pay period is not till the 15th.
And I think the other thing on your question, well, we can question it, but that was actually, and I'm playing devil's advocate, I agree with what you're saying. But that was in the budget very well. I think we had that argument budget time.
we did.
Yeah, so I think,
I think it needs to have a sunset.
yeah.
But again, we're not on board
But
at
I think
all.
for this year, it's a mute discussion.
Okay.
Not that I agree with that, but
Next week.
Okay.
All right, tabling item 3. Item number 4 is secondary roads. Zach's here. He's got some talk about drain, review, discuss equipment quotes and a department update.
Morning.
Good morning.
Drain I have is DD 97, in Richland, section 16. There's a sinkhole where, private tile connected to our main, a very easy fix. The guys actually got it done. They were in the area and got it completed and taken care of, so, nothing really, different about that one, I guess.
just a connection.
I'll make a motion to approve the drain repair. Before you happen.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We're going down the line now.
Second thing I had on the list was talking about equipment quotes. What I have today is a couple different quotes for a service body for a mechanic's truck. This is something we had in the budget for this coming year. Looked at a couple different places. Really what we're looking for is going to an aluminum body, for weight wise and for, trying to get away from the rust. Looked at, quite a few different vendors, but, I guess the one that I'm looking at, recommending is the one from Highway Truck. It's using a Hughes, body. And then obviously it's got things that, along with that, a small crane, air compressor, welder generator, Tommy gate in the back, among other things, but, our current mechanic's truck is about 26 years old, I believe, and the body's starting to fail. It's this time, so.
Plus it was a cheaper quote by $30,000.
It is, and I will say these aren't apples to apples, there are a little bit of differences in them, but it's still, I think fits our needs a lot better, what we're trying, as well as trying to be fiscally responsible for what we're doing, so.
And you did go try one on, correct?
We did look at one, make sure we liked how it was built, the construction, what have you, and I think it's gonna fit our needs well.
Yeah, there's more, better toys on the other one. You can see that. It's got a pressurized cab.
Pressurized cabin, it's, it's like hydraulic outrigger, it's a little, there's more to it, but, for what we're doing and what we need, I think this is gonna fit our needs well.
And like you said, it's 30,000 less.
I'll make a motion to approve the highway quote for $66,370.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, I guess, kind of falls under department update. Our existing salt shed building that we have, is roughly 20 years old. It's basically a fabric roof hoop structure. We did some repair to the concrete walls here the last couple of years. But the fabric, is starting to show its age, especially the end wall where our door is on the south side. We're getting some holes and some tears and things are starting to let loose a little bit. So initially I reached out, tried to get a couple different quotes, just to fix that end wall, replace that end wall. And that's roughly 25 to 27,000 just to do the end wall. As we we're talking about that and talking to the folks we're getting quotes from, the rest of the structure is not too far behind. I mean, we might get a couple more years out of it, but it's definitely aging. 20 years for the life of that it's doing pretty well. So I also had them give us quotes to redo the whole coverall structure, not just the end wall, but the whole thing. And that was in that $45,000 to $47,000 range, I believe. 46 to 47. With that, knowing we're gonna have to do that in the next couple of years, I see it really, I'd be really hard pressed to do just the end wall and not do the whole thing right away for the amount of savings I think we can get. If we wait, we're gonna be paying a premium to get them here. I think the mobilization to get them here is a big part of this. I have some of this money budgeted for this fiscal year, not all of it. I'll have to find a way to make that work. But the other thing is our salt building is not full right now. It's maybe 2/3 full. I gotta talk with the vendors a little bit more to find out if we have to move salt out to be able to replace this or whether they can do it with the salt in there. But I guess the last thing I don't want is the wind to take that off and then now we sit with our soil open and get hard as a rock, so. But,
Is the lead time, are they gonna be able to get it done this summer?
I think they can get at it this summer or fall. And kind of depending on whether we have to move the salt or not, we might wait till fall or even early winter if it work out, but we'll work with the vendor on that. Just because I don't want to move all the salt around if we don't have to, but we'll see how that works out. But I do want to get them, I guess, on the books to get this plan, so we gotta make sure they have the cover and that we can get it done before Mother Nature decides to.
How much money were you shy of that you had budgeted?
If I remember right, I have about 18,000, I think, budgeted in buildings. And not that I can't, depending on what you call this, what category it slides into, I think we might be able to make it work, but, I just don't want to get caught, with that.
A bunch of
Rip off.
exposed salt.
That's not a good thing. If it's as dry as it's been the last 2 years, maybe not so big a deal, but the way we had,
And usually those covers, when they go.
like, they do, and
They don't give you much warning.
we've replaced some straps, we've tightened things down, but where it's starting to tear and the holes, that's what's causing the bigger issue right now, and there's been a lot of wind this year, and I assume that's probably gonna continue.
So the difference I see, the one is 40, to do the total building, 46,340, and the other one's 45,975. It's only $365 difference.
So what I'm recommending on this is the one that we've always worked with is this AccuSteel, the 46,340. They're local, they're the ones that have been serving us. This Greystone actually cold called me 3 or 4 months ago, and what can you do for me? And I said, I told him, I said, I've gotten a quote, it just seems high. And he said, yeah, I'll give you a quote. It took him about 6 weeks for him to get back to me, so I'm a little leery of how that process would go with them, but I think the local would be a good way to go in this
That's gonna be
situation.
my suggestion, that building was built with active steel, and I would suggest about $365, we stay in the same company.
I'm
That would
100%,
be my recommendation to stay local.
I'm 100% behind that.
And I personally, I think it's probably wise, just go ahead and do the whole. No directions.
Yeah, you do one end and it's 27 grand, do the whole thing. It's
And like you said, that mobilization is.
Yeah.
And the materials comparable?
I think so.
I know.
Everything that they've told me, it is, I believe. I mean, I think they use the same weight of fabric. And the structure's all there. The only thing there needs to be a little bit tweaking to the door, and that we'll be doing some of that ourselves. So as far as I can tell from everything they gave us, the straps and all that are comparable.
Do they warrant it?
That I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that, Mark, 'cause I'm not sure. If they do, I don't think it's for real long, just because due to wind.
Well, but I also just got it recently, so I
Don't think those things got it.
I don't think they do. I can't answer that for sure, but I
just
just
the
think
way
they
the
do.
wind has been and so on and so forth. I think it would be.
Mhm.
The quote is warranted for 30 days.
We know that much, that's
But
about
I
it.
would want the cover to be warranted more than that too, but
Right,
I don't know if that's
right.
nitpicking or not, but as long as the warranty, I would agree with Gene that, you know, if the warranty would be, you're pleased with the materials,
I'm
warranty be.
I'm guessing that from an industry wide, the warranties are gonna be pretty similar. Definitely we'll find out what they are, so we know what we got. And my guess is it's not something that you can, like equipment that you can extend the warranty on, because they're gonna stand behind it for probably material workmanship, but once weather starts factoring in,
Right,
I think it's gonna be a different ballgame.
yeah, then it's an insurance thing.
I
Correct.
think it's the problem with that materials, weather has played a lot of the longevity.
It does. It does.
If there's no other questions, I'd go ahead and make a motion, go ahead and do the package steel whole building.
For 46,340.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. The other thing I was gonna mention, but we already talked about it, was July 18th to be the deadline for the shoulder project on M66, so. Got 5 or 6 plant holders already, so hopefully we get some good bids and can get this taken care of this summer.
July 18th at 10 a.m.
How have your bids been coming in?
Please not discuss pricing.
Okay.
In general, I think from what I understand, construction, bids have been coming in well. I think contractors are hungry. If there's, at least locally, that's what I've heard. Now, I don't know,
For the RISE project in August, that came in.
that came in, well, it's probably 15 or 20% under the estimate. So, I think there's definitely, some opportunity here, hopefully.
Settling perhaps.
Hopefully.
If you'd like to talk about it.
My time is your time.
Well, conflict of interest there.
Oh,
On my behalf.
That's all I had, so unless you have any other questions for me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
All right, moving along, item number 5 to approve plats. Did we want to do, I know we have Brian Traders, did we want to add Dave Worzers, or is it just the one for today and Dave next week?
Yeah, we need to wait on dates because the city of Willie has to approve that first,
Okay,
so.
today we just had Brian Traders.
Motion here, Brian Schrader's, but
I'll second it.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6 is to review and consider for approval of the Dries Company Maintenance Agreement, and I have a couple of guys here to discuss that. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, Matt Owen with Dries Company and Brett Singh for our service manager. All
I
right,
think we've
so,
all had time to kind of take a look
Okay.
at the service agreement, but I think there might be a couple questions.
Okay.
along with this.
so I guess I can start with questions if you have any right off top hand, or I can give a synopsis of kind of what's included, what's written.
Why don't you do a synopsis first?
Okay, so what I did was I took what we installed in the building, routine maintenance that it would take to do that on a quarterly, yearly, monthly basis. and basically just put a dollar amount to it. So those are things that your maintenance guys can be doing. Those are things we can do for you. I don't know, Zach's kind of busy with a lot of things, so we've got a lot of technical knowledge that when we're in that unit, say, changing filters, things like that, we have an eye for other things. A lot of those pieces of equipment require the ERV unit, for instance, requires a monthly filter change just because it runs 24/7, 365. There's not every unit in the building requires that, so.
And then you inventory them on site at Grease, the
Yes,
filters.
yes. So, yeah, so what I've done is the ERU unit, which is a monthly change out, we've got those filters, that price is the price of the filters is included in that quote. Not all the rest of the units will require filter changes at the same rate, so we'll change them on a needed basis and then just bill that filter accordingly.
So there'll be a charge on top of this then?
Just as needed for the filters, because like, I don't know which units are gonna need them changed as soon as others. I hated to just include blanket when you don't necessarily need it.
But that's an on-demand service.
Yes, like I said, the ER unit, which is on the roof, that will require monthly. So we would be here once a
You
month.
just show up.
You would schedule for preventative maintenance?
Yes, yep,
And being it's monthly, there was a question about construction causing the filters to be dirty. It's not really a matter of construction because that unit draws mostly outside air. Just because that's fresh air for the cells and everything. So the construction had very little to do with the filters being dirty on a monthly basis. It's, the outside air, especially when you're dry, all that dirt, cottonwood things flying around. So they will need to be replaced monthly. That's a crucial unit, and every time we pull the filters out, they are very dirty on the monthly. And we try to get it exactly at 30 days to make sure we're not doing it faster and, going 6 weeks in between. We try to make sure it's scheduled like on the 20th of every month that we're doing it, so we get the full 30 days out of the filters. So
And so this contract, right, we're looking at here is for the courthouse only, correct? Or
yeah, I've given two, one to the courthouse specifically, one to the jail specifically,
and you're
correct?
doing it for the jail right now?
Right now, we are for the jail, yes.
How much is that one, you
I believe we've been doing it on a T&M basis, and I tried to put a dollar amount to it just to make it easier for everyone to know. I want to say the dollar amount I had was 9,500, something like that. And that was just a summary of what we have been doing. I just was able to look back, this is what we had to do, project this is what it would cost to keep doing it at that rate.
So this quote we have in front of us is strictly just for the courthouse.
Yeah, you do not have a copy of the jail?
No.
Okay, I had sent that over
I
to,
think I saw the copy. I think somehow, John, I got it from you or Ken or Courtney maybe.
yeah, I had sent it over to sheriff initially.
And
I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't ask this. Is there a way you can combine those and get us a better price?
Absolutely. We could do it all in one shot. One day would be doing, both buildings instead of the 20th over there, the 22nd over here, so be it.
So would you like us to wait to see if you can combine?
I mean, yeah, if you're interested in that, like I said, I initially just did it separate because this building had a substantial completion date, so there's a warranty factor. That building over there is done, so we're already actively in a service agreement over there.
so this wouldn't take effect for this building till when?
Well, okay, so I thought about that after I sent it over to Zach. So substantial completion on this building was May 31st or something like that. So we already got a 1-year warranty on the building. But filter changes is something that Zach should be doing now, which would not be covered under the warranty. So, I mean, if he was interested, we could be enacting some of this now or wait till June 1 of 25.
So
When
do
was-
you have an annual contract with the jail and jail?
We've got a T&M basis
Okay.
with the jail right now, yes. I had thought about that after I sent it to Zach, because I told him, I said, you're under warranty for a year, but technically, there's some things he needs to be doing that's not covered under the warranty, and if he wanted us to do those things, we could be.
Well, washing of units and changing filters is a warranty, that's maintenance, so that wouldn't be covered under warranty anyways.
And what I've also put in that contract also was, priority service agreement with a discounted labor wage and, materials also. If something should occur that we need to repair outside of a warranty,
And so this is an annual contract.
yes. which can be reviewed every year too. I had told Ken over at the jail, he had questioned whether we needed those filters changed every month on that ERU unit on the roof. And I told him, I said, let's do it monthly and we'll review it after a month. Brett elaborated that I think it really does need it, but you know, if we decide something in this contract probably needs to be stronger, needs to be not less stringent, yeah, you know, we can adjust that too. The goal is to be able to try to find problems in these systems before all of a sudden Zach calls and says it's, you know, it's the middle of December and all of a sudden the heat's not working on something. You know, we can find some of this preemptive stuff. Save you guys money and save us the time of making it an emergency.
I like the direction, that was a great question on this chair. I like where your head is, or if we can combine some of these. Then, and it's good for them too. I mean, you guys are busy too, so.
Yeah, like I said, I had just initially 2 different buildings because the warranty on this one and that one, but I, yeah, most definitely can revise, combine it all into one, send it back.
I'd almost rather go that direction and then revise it yearly, because we can't appropriate monies spent for, especially since this is a yearly contract. We can't guarantee money for the next fiscal year. Legally.
Question for you, are you gonna want those 2 billed separately or so you can split them out?
All comes out of the same place.
So one contract is fine, okay.
General
Zach, how do
fund.
you feel?
Jack, you got,
Yeah, I got here late. Sorry about that, but,
no, don't be, but I want you in on this, so.
yeah, just one of the biggest factors is with our old system. When it worked great. You know, it was a fairly easy system to run, to operate. With this newer system, there's just so many more moving parts to it. There's so many different units, there's so many. So we're gonna have issues and it's gonna be hard for me to stay up on making sure. I mean, I do the fire extinguishers monthly and there's times where I get behind on that and that's just looking at a gauge and signing my name off. So for me to be able to make sure I'm cleaning filters, changing filters, I get the contract is, it's amount of money. I mean, it's kind of hard to swallow, but I think in the
But you're
long
not
run, it is.
inventorying filters.
What's that?
You're not having to inventory the filters.
Right, yep, that was one question I did ask Matt too. I'm like, you guys have the filters, you're providing that, yeah, I mean, so it's. Yeah, I get it, it's a chunk of money every month that you're like, oh man, but. Like Matt said too, I mean, in the long run, if it's saving issues in the future, if it prolongs the whole system, any of that, I mean,
That's
that's.
called preventative maintenance. for a
Right.
reason.
And as far as the shock treatment, we've had this all the time with all our computer equipment, servers and stuff, the maintenance agreements we have on them, so
Yeah,
it's just like that, basically.
and not trying to make anyone look bad or anything, but what was that, probably about a month ago, John, when you guys had that issue up on top? I don't know if you talked about that at all. A drain plug ended up being plugged, but that was before we knew what it was, so I mean, roofers were here. Ceiling tile got ruined, there ended up being a leak in the sheriff's department, and Dries actually said, you know what, we should have caught that, they covered everything. I mean, so that was a nice.
Yeah, see, and that's, this agreement tried to do is to try to set it in stone. This is exactly what we're going to do for you. Cause that was the same thing. We were changing filters out. The guy who changed the filters was told, well, I changed the filters. I didn't check out the condensate traps. Condensate trap plug, overflowed the unit, damaged the stuff below. So doing this, our guys know, okay, I'm here to do the filters. I'm gonna inspect the condensate trap, check for loose wiring, you know, look and see if the condenser coils are plugged or, you know, just the things more that we'll do than just, we're gonna swap the filters out for you.
Well, I appreciate you fulfilling your duty with your unit and covering that. I do appreciate that. That speaks volumes for your company.
But I do think, I agree with you, I think it'd be nice to have one contract. Both of them.
I don't think there needs to be another presentation. If you could, I would like to table this amount and then have you guys combine a quote.
Yep.
Send it to Courtney and then we can approve it once it's combined.
Yep.
We don't want to take up any more of your time.
That's
I
no
don't think
problem.
there needs to be another
I have
presentation.
more questions, yeah.
If you could combine those, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, and I can already see a savings with like the control standards. So what we did when we did the 2 buildings is we put the same stuff in each building so we could combine the 2. So like Zach could sit at a computer and look at the entire building instead of just the jail separate from the courthouse. And I know when Tyler goes through and does his control checks, points, things like that, if he's doing both building at once, I know it'll save him some time.
Okay.
And it'll just be something that you'll have to get ready, but then we'll still be under the warranty part of it, so you'll just have to wait to, you know.
Well, I think the service contract really has nothing to do with the warranty because maintenance is not covered under warranty. You know, we need to wash the units, replace the filters, things like
Right.
that aren't warranty, but if we find a unit that has a problem on our service check on the courthouse side of it, then yeah, that would become covered under labor warranty. There wouldn't be an extra charge, but if we find something at the jail, say a broken belt or things like that, then, you know, we would charge for that accordingly, extra labor, but
Understandable.
till the warranty period's up, we wouldn't charge extra, but the service agreement is a maintenance issue, not a warranty issue, and I think it needs to be done because pretty much this equipment's the same as over there, and it's gonna be needing the same maintenance. There's a lot of filters, and it's a high-tech system that needs to be checked out regularly, because things can be missed, and if you let something go, we could have issues, so.
Sounds like next week.
Well, thank you very much for coming in and explaining.
Yep, no
Thank you.
problem.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.
Zach, did you have anything else?
No, separate from this, I just want to make you guys aware, Don Bernhold has spent quite a few hours on your flags behind you guys. Getting them how to look good, proper, all that, so just, if you see him around, a big thank you to him, I think would be appreciated. I'd say 10 to 20 hours, he's very particular about it, he likes the way they look, how they should look, and, so, yeah, that was all volunteer time from him coming in and kind of me helping him a little bit with it, but that was something he wanted to do, so. Just want to bring to your guys' attention, let you guys know that he's done that, so buy him a cup of coffee or something if you see him, or a big thank you or anything like that, so.
Thanks, Zach.
Yep. Thank you guys.
And they do look nice, so John's watching the meeting. Thank you very much on behalf of the board. Okay, item number 7. So Courtney, when he sends that over, we'll just put it on for next week's agenda. Thank you. Item number 7, to review and consider for approval of chair quote from Stones. Originally, when we did this room, we had Stones do the chairs, and we had talked about replacing some of those red and green and yellow ones that we had up at the clerk of courts, the DMV, and outside the treasurer's office. And I don't know if there's any on, or outside, I don't think there is any on yours or the recorders, but we didn't purchase them at the time because we wanted to wait and see how they felt and looked in the space.
These are these chairs here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
Without wheels.
Yes. So Courtney reached out and from some of the different departments and got a count of 18 total to finish the rest of the courthouse.
And those could be wheeled down here if needed for an overflow crowd.
We did, Mark, also I want to make you aware, there's a cart dolly for chairs back in that. We did purchase that the first time, so if we do have, for some reason, a huge overflow of people, Zach or somebody can grab those chairs really easily and get them.
Ride it down the elevator and bring it back in.
Grab Mark.
Yeah, Mark can move the chairs.
Yeah.
I knew that. I
4 months and
I served
4 months and 12 days, you can do that.
I served a purpose here. didn't I?
Yes, chair member. But I will say a couple of these chairs too are included into Lisa's office, correct? There's a table that she doesn't have chairs.
Yeah, and she's using some of the old chairs and they're, I would guess, just by looking at them, they're probably from the 70s, maybe just based on the colors.
Is that your original purchase, Mark?
Anyway,
You're talking again,
yeah,
not me.
some of them are kind of
Get that.
scuffing up the floor because they don't have, and you know, we can put felt things on the bottom of them, but it's kind of falling apart, to be honest. Some don't have things on the bottoms of them, so. Yeah, so there's a few out in the hall. This would include a few up in the clerk of courts up there. I kind of just went around to see how many we would need, and 18 would be more, I mean, would be perfect. I mean, that'd be replacing everything, but when I saw that they were $200 a piece, I thought, do we want to just do maybe 10 and then maybe next year get another 10? So I didn't, made no promises to Stones, but thought you guys could decide, and if you don't want to get any, you won't get any. It doesn't matter to me.
I think we go ahead and get them and supply the other 2 floors. And they're, if needed, they can be moved rather easily. And then, We also talked, separate from this quote, about name plates.
And like glass or plastic,
Floor mats and possibly file cabinets.
those would be for. Do you want to reach out to John or would you like me to? If you've been in contact, feel free.
I have, so,
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve this one,
The
the
chairs.
chairs.
Were they budgeted? Is that my question?
We do have money.
We do.
We got money left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of it was for audio visual, I mean, there were several things unknown
Yeah.
that there was money.
I'll second that. And I think, I would, or you go ahead and look for a file cabinet like what Scott's got there, but not necessarily that same one. I think that'd be ideal.
okay, that came from my desk. That wasn't easy.
Let's see if they got something similar. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, you can have this one back.
Well, I don't need it, that's why I gave it to you, but,
but I mean, I don't think I'm gonna pay the price of that one.
well, yeah, I mean,
You don't
that
need wheels.
was part of the package.
Yeah, I understand.
So,
But I do like the way that one's set up with one drawer and it's got also a small drawer for, you know.
all right, I will ask him on that, so we need 4 of them. And then without wheels, but something similar to that, same size, but doesn't need to be on wheels.
Most reasonable.
Please find out what the
It
cost would be.
doesn't have to be high price.
Just with a key lock on, it, single key lock. And nameplates.
Okay, so there was a motion and a second for, to approve chairs from Stones in the amount of $3,708. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8 is to set a public hearing for the Halber real estate gift. Okay. Forgot to bring those.
And it's on the agenda, so go ahead.
Carroll County currently owns that old railroad walking path just outside of Halbert. Is there
On
a,
the west edge of Halbert, on probably Hawthorne.
it's about a mile of a walk.
I was thinking person health versus city health.
City of
So
Halbert,
it's not, even- it's only about
half
a
mile.
half mile at the most.
And all we do right now is when one of our guys is going from North County down to the south, they stop, mow a stretch. And that's it. And it's truly just a mound from an old railroad.
Yeah.
The city of Halbert reached out to us wanting to, put a trail, just a walking path, whether that be gravel or paved, so that their children and whoever wants to use it can walk on that and not be no grass. Well, this county has no interest in paving that. But if they can fund the money themselves, so what we were kind of thinking was gifting them that small parcel to the city of Halbert, with the exception if they ever wanted to get rid of it, it comes back to the county. First right of refusal. So that down the road, they couldn't just sell that spot of land and make money on that. So come back to it.
What are we talking in terms of acreage or?
Oh, boy, I mean,
Probably less than 4 acres.
Pretty considerable piece of ground.
Well, it's, I mean, we're trying to set the date for the public hearing right now, but I
Yeah,
did hear from one person who goes and shoots his gun there, and he's wondering if the city would still allow him to do that. Means it's marked as a county. I'm not saying that will be a showstopper, but
was that a shooting range?
no, but I think you can.
You're on the north side of the
on the
cemetery.
north side.
West side. Talbot.
Yeah.
If you wanna-
Northwest corner.
It's right across, right north of, which one is that house? How about, what we did, it's old railroad, right?
So the county's, the county's participation in this would be just a gift to
Deed it to the
do
city.
that over. And all we're doing is mowing it now.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's no easement or right of way or,
Trying to get you-
okay.
Yeah, maybe that's the argument.
Well, it was gifted to the county from the railroad.
Originally, okay.
But this is just a set public hearing, correct?
Yeah,
This
correct.
question is okay.
yeah, and I'm not slowing anything down, I'm just asking a question.
No, I'm trying to find, see if I can't find the, well, I can't find a picture of it. That also earmarked another question then.
Okay, that didn't work.
Yeah, neither did this.
I don't have a picture of that.
You familiar with it, Zach? Little piece of ground?
Vaguely, not in detail, but I know what you're talking about.
Let me-
It's on the west side of Halbert,
I'll
right?
show you on my
Yeah,
phone.
I can show you right here.
I got the parcel number if you want it.
I've got it.
Okay, here we
Here,
are.
here. There it is. Here's a partial right here.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, yep.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
And it goes to nowhere.
Sarah must be watching. She sent the parcel number.
See right here. There.
I say I have a picture of the map upstairs, but
So,
Okay.
So
With, along with that, just to
Upper
clarify
range,
too,
yeah.
if there's any, bills or anything that goes along with, setting up a quick claim deed or anything that the city of Halbert pays, the county does not pay. Do you know when they wanted to set a public hearing?
yeah, sorry, I got two of them here.
Yeah, it came out
July 15th at 9:30.
July 15th, 9:30.
2 weeks from today. I'll make a motion to go for the, or to approve date and time for the public hearing. July 15th at 9:30.
And I'll second that for the public hearing. There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 9 is to consider for approval payment of the Maple River delinquent invoice to R&R Septic. We have 2 of them. One in the amount of $2,712.50, and the other one is $3,093.75. These have been past due for a little while as we're trying to figure out the situation over in Maple River.
I would make a motion to go ahead and approve payment of these, and these will be looked back at and added on to some sort of extended loan or a new loan with the people of Maple River. But I guess I'll make the motion and go ahead and approve them and take the fund, have Corbin take the funds out where we can at some point.
And then repay them.
Reimburse it through the loan.
That was only gonna be my question.
That's what,
I understand they're delinquent. You know, I guess I understand how they got delinquent, but to avoid it again,
Yeah, well,
and again, ought to be able to do some kind of interfund loan there, Courtney.
Yeah, we'll pay it as like an expenditure and then, so they have a couple options for the people to pick from and how they wanna restructure this, so this doesn't happen again. Once they pick an option, we'll have to obviously have a hearing and redo the loan, and at that time, we will have to add this into the loan, so the county can get that funding back.
aren't the options redo the loan or take out an additional loan and keep the one at 1%?
well, here's,
Yeah, I mean,
I'll just go through it. I didn't really want to go into too much.
Well, we don't have to.
But one of the first option is increase the rate to $75. Remember that night we went over, we said we had $20 more? Well, that was just a short term. After that, Mike and I came in and did an analysis of the last fiscal year's financials. And with assuming what we should be doing as far as pumping those tanks in rotation. So we put a rotation in every 4th year they get pumped, or no, every 3rd year they get pumped, which they should be. So, and then what we've done is we've increased the rate to $75, keep the current loan the way it is, and then, pay it back. What we would do is add then a separate loan for the new, backfill expenses, and that would also give them some extra money. But then the other option would be that we increase the rate at $75 or $70, write a new loan at 2.5% for $100,000. And then, but both these would, like the first option would put about $403 into reserves per month. Second option would be, put about an average of $274 in reserves. So the idea is to get some type of reserves. That was the whole issue here all the while. There was not money being put in reserves.
They were basically just paying the bill for
Just
their
paying bills, and then,
maintenance.
well, then we got, the situation came where their ammonia level got high this year, and DNR demanded that they pump all the tanks, which got them into a position there, and we probably had big bills. So, and I will say one of the other things that we're gonna do is when we get looking at this, we're gonna require more maintenance schedules. Be turned in to Courtney and that we can look at, and make sure it's getting done. Because, I have had several discussions, as a matter of fact, I had one with some residents Saturday night, questions and things, and I think that needs to be done, that we're gonna require, make sure that these maintenances are being done, these filters are being cleaned, the tanks are being pumped every so often. So I've had I did have a discussion last week with Russ Tigas. I will say they were very gracious.
He's the one that owns the septic company.
Yeah, they're the ones that pump the tanks, and they were, I told them that we was gonna get it taken care of one way or another, and I told them, as far as the rest, we're gonna work that out yet. But I think they're gonna have to give us what their desire is for an option, and if they do not return it, what the request is gonna be, that's gonna consider a vote for the higher one.
Are they gonna charge us any late fees on these?
They haven't, no.
That's really kind, they're
Yes.
late.
Mhm.
Yes,
When I opened this up, I was like,
but there was no money in the fund
Yeah, I
to do
get
it,
it.
so that's why we're gonna have to
Yeah.
do the whole loan, and I've been, years ago when we redid this, I already, we weren't putting nothing in reserve.
yeah. And again, again, this is my 2 cents that you didn't ask for, but I would just urge that, all of our vendors out there, all of our vendors, that we maintain the credit standard of which they expect.
So this is what's going on.
Just make it happen,
You guys
and we'll
will-
figure out how to pay for it, but
But when we did our deep analysis that last one, we found out it was a worse situation. So, We were
Well,
not
everything,
far off from that $20.
stuff costs more.
Huh?
They've been paying $55 for how long, and everything costs more.
Yeah.
Too, utilities.
It's not just buying the system. Because you don't just buy the system, you have to maintain the system. And if you move to an acreage and you have a septic system that needs to be maintained, I can promise you, it's way more than $55.
Well, Mike did a comparison, his acreage and what it was costing him per month. They're getting by cheap. And the other thing is, some of the attitudes are like, well, we ain't gonna pay any more than we have to. No. They need to be reminded if that system goes bad, their valuation just decreased too, because they don't have a sewer system. But they can't seem to realize it.
And Mount Carmel isn't facing the same issue.
No, Mount Carmel's putting some money away. They've got some money in there. It's not a lot, but it's like 11,000, something like that, I think.
I think it's closer to 15 in reserves.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're putting some away, and we haven't had, after we got the pump issues kind of resolved up there, we had some people that were misusing the system, running wrong stuff.
Still?
No, this was back,
Back
when, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say.
So since then, after the first pump, if we find that it's an abuse, then you pay for the pump. And then since then, things have kind of really took care of itself pretty good.
Some things I haven't forgotten.
Yeah, this has been kind of,
So he made a motion, I got a second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
And just to clarify, we're gonna pay this where we can find some financing or find some money. And this amount of 580625 will go on top of what they owe the county.
Yeah.
Whether or not we do it
Option
option 1 or 2, it's still getting added to the loan for the most part.
And just essentially restructuring the loan, the way I understand.
Either restructure the loan
Or
or add.
taking out, the one's at 1%. So why re-borrow that at a higher rate if you can take out a $15,000
And
loan?
we're using lower interest on this thing because trying to help them out. And the other thing is, if you go and put too much interest on it, all we're doing is paying interest. They're not gaining any ground.
No, I don't have any problems.
Right now, they got 15 years left, and if we refinance the whole thing, it goes instead of 2039, it goes to 2052.
Trying to copy back and you don't. Unless you want to copy it.
Thank you. Up to speed.
We're gonna go ahead and that added agenda item to set public hearing for the compensation comprehensive plan. The Carroll County Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing, if approved, Monday, July 15th, 2024 at 9 a.m. in this room here. The meeting will seek comments on the 2024 Carroll County Comprehensive Plan. Upon hearing any comments, the Board of Supervisors will consider the adoption of said July 15th at 9 a.m.
2 weeks from today.
90.
So we have.
We'll have two public hearings, one at 9 and one at 9:30. I'll make the motion to set the public hearing for July
Second.
15th. There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item number 10 is manure management annual update. The Tompkins feedlot, section 35, Arcadia Township, no changes. PI 271 finisher, section 30, Newton Township, changed crop rotation or optimum yields. Jason and Nathan Nealon, section 32, Neast Township, did a 4-year plan. And Wheatland 15, section 15, Wheatland Township, that's a lot of Wheatland and 15. Change crop rotation or optimum yield and use manure analysis. Now we're to committee reports.
Thank you. Last week, Monday, I had newspaper and radio. I did do a Maple River wastewater treatment plant site visit with Jared Hayes. And one of the things that came out, even if Maple River were to triple or quadruple in size, it's still gonna be the same cost for him to maintain the system. Kind of like the city of Carroll. I mean, there's a minimum operating expense that you have to have. But yeah, it was probably an hour to understand the system, but Beans, that Middle Raccoon is deemed a recreational waterway for 6 months a year. They have to do extra steps and extra tests. Tuesday, I did talk with Jamie about the new ambulance. The quotes, I think, will be coming in an upcoming meeting. Then Tuesday also, the Daily Times Herald, Sarah was here and talked to several department heads about the HVAC remodel. She took some pictures and thanks to all the department heads who helped with that. Wednesday night was a public hearing for the comprehensive plan. We had no public comment in person or in writing. So that's what's on the agenda in 2 weeks is the final one of those. I did have several conversations about the 2-mile zone also all last week. This week today at noon, conference board meeting to discuss applicants and maybe come up with a plan, and happy Independence Day. Short week.
Last week I worked on trying to set up the public or the assessors, to the board meeting today at 1. Sorry, at noon.
Okay.
Matt Courtney set the agenda, and then I did meet with Lori up at St. Anthony's. She currently sits on the ambulance board. Then I went and met with Jamie at the ambulance. And we just had some light discussions, and then I fielded a lot of emails and calls this past week in reference to the 2-mile radius zoning. This week I had the newspaper radio I reply back to this email that I got right here, and I think that's it as of now.
Okay, last week, I had Rolling Hills, board meeting up at Stone Lake. We did approve, went through the financials. We did approve a whole bunch of contracts for vendors, some of them being Yes Center for Transportation, Spirit Memorial Hospital, Mental Health, Sioux Mental Health Center, and SMHC Crisis Contract. We did approve those all. We did, approve Siouxland Mental Health and Mobile Crisis increase on that, because they hired some extra people there that they needed. We did improve the ICAP liability, and, we did have a request from the Siouxland Mental Health, request for some additional funding, and we did that, table that to, they were wanting to increase because they didn't put an increase in their salaries, and they said that they were trying to look out for our budget, and we're concerned about how HHS is gonna look on this, so we did not move on that. I question how it all was not kind of, had a lot of red flags, so part of too. Then Thursday had new opportunities board meetings. We accept the financials on it, everything was looked good. Went through the policy council reports. They did not have a meeting this month or next month, it was the summer. We did approve a bunch of contracts from Heath and other one. And other than that, it's kind of a short meeting, and then did go out and review the new garage that we're putting up out there. And also then on Friday, I was scheduled for HHS tour. That was supposed to be out at New Opportunities last Friday, and I got canceled due to the flooding issue. They felt they did that, and then throughout the week, I kind of did a lot of work on the Maple River situation, and I did receive some calls in regard to 2 mile zone 2 for some conversation. This week, all I have is the staff at noon today, conference board, and then that's it. I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay, last week I scrubbed the floors, washed the bedding, did the, you want county? Okay, no, I didn't do it.
Ready to go.
But they got done. But back to my thick-headedness, one more time. So we set the comprehensive plan, which you guys have been working on for 2 weeks, Monday, the 15th at 9 a.m.
Yep.
And then on that same one is the,
Quick claim deed.
yeah, okay. And then we kind of started a little bit about the compensation board. Is there another public hearing? Okay, is there gonna be an agenda item?
I was gonna put it on next week.
Okay, for next Monday, okay, but comprehensive plan and compensation.
If I get them all.
And conference board, yeah, it's confusing.
We name something with a different letter than C.
Not very sharp these days. Okay, no, I don't have.
Would you rather have Wheatland 15?
I don't know. There's one word that comes up in the manure management, so Gene always has to correct me on what so. Courtney, what do you have? What is it? No, not Kansas.
So we'll put the compensation board, changes, I guess, on the agenda next week, so I guess we just discuss that. I mean, honestly, we don't start dealing with that until, late fall, but, I know one elected official that was wondering if she needed to, appoint somebody. So, given that question, might be a good idea to make a decision.
Yeah,
But
because legally, we don't have to make a decision until fall.
correct. So,
Get the discussion started.
I
what I'd
think
say.
it's a
I
discussion,
don't
people
need
can feel how we.
That's day after tomorrow, the way this year's running. New fiscal year.
so fiscal 25 salaries, we'll put that back on and I'll get a hold of Maggie, and then hopefully have Idris maintenance agreement combined. That's all I know.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's still non-debatable, right?
Yep. I wanted to make.
Thanks, Pete.
Welcome back. Thanks for stepping up.
Thank you. Only for 4 months.
I had to write it down upstairs.
4 months.
We talked about it, but I don't remember what I said.
Not a big deal. I'll stop talking away.